Hello, Thaddeus. Last week's video might have been a little bit light on the theatrics or the talking or the actually doing anything, even though it was a little bit annoying to make all of those cuts and to sit there silently for about 5 minutes. Hopefully, though, this week's bonus video will make up for the lack of degree of difficulty of last Friday's video. In fact, I have quite a bit new respect for Yahtzee and what he does, because even as just a kind of trial run that wasn't even well executed, that was hard stuff to do. So this week I wanted to talk a little bit about what Guys from the Future LLC actually does in terms of time travel. There's two types of time travel. There's your tourism, and then there's your academic time travel. Your tourism is basically controlled by your tourist industry. Basically, there's these time arcs, they're out of phase, so they don't interact with history or reality at the time. People just kind of go there, watch an event, go home. They're kind of like glorified hotels. In some cases, the Battle of Gettysburg, for example, has a 5-star resort built on it. Meanwhile, the Kennedy assassination is basically just you go there, watch him get shot, go home. Spoiler alert, it was Lee Harvey Oswald. The Lincoln assassination is dinner and a show. Sorry, union mandatory tea break. Now, what we do at Guys from the Future LLC is the academic sort of time travel. Academic time travel is basically used for research purposes. You go somewhere to study the people, the culture, the event, and you actually interact with the people in that event. You can actually gather data that you would not otherwise have access to. Let's say you want to become more than just, say, a traveling tour guide for time, and you actually want to experience the time period. A lot of people think that, oh, I'll get my physics degree, and that will lend me into being at some of the top of the program. Well, no. Getting a physics degree is good and all, but that really just qualifies you to be a time machine mechanic, which, while it pays incredibly well, they generally don't travel back in time that much. Now, if you want to become one of the actual time travelers, and have the actual degree and the TT after your name, one of the preferred degrees is English. History is another really, really good one. Basically, a humanities degree is what you're looking for there. But history and English being the big ones, because a lot of what you're going to have to study to specialize is going to be history of the periods and the literature of the periods, and the culture and the social issues of the periods, which comes through a lot of reading and culture studies. A lot of times you go and just actually get a doctorate. Then you have to go to the actual time schools. You get your law degree, basically. You get your physics trainings, your operating of the machines, and then you actually have to go in and spend the years of specialization. There's a bit of an apprenticeship, because even just studying the language, you almost have to have first-hand experience if you want to do it right. So a lot of the times you end up, your first trip, people think you're mentally handicapped, or in the case of the 21st in America. Now, my specialty, late 20th and early 21st century, is one of the harder specializations to do, because as you go along throughout history, you have to learn more and more about cultural histories and cultural past, so you end up having to specialize in not only the history of the period, and the languages of the period, but also the past history of the culture that you're trying to study. And let me tell you from experience, it's a good thing that this is the setup, because if you just sent these historians back in time by themselves, they would be screwed, because having to deal with antiquated technology is not their forte. And let me tell you, I had this one time I was taking this full professor, won tons of research awards, top of his field, Ivy League professor, and a toothbrush just vexed him completely. Could not figure out what it was for. Even when I explained to him, he's like, it would never occur to me to develop something like that for personal hygiene. And even though we employ just a load of specialists for all sorts of time periods, we even have specific dinosaur time periods like the Triassic, the Cretaceous, all of those periods, even sub-periods of them, we have people specifically trained for those areas of research. Which brings me to the largest sector of Guys from the Future LLC, time accountancy. The biggest issue you really have when it comes to time travel is balancing the monetary systems, because while it might seem trivial if I spend $20 on a trip on food, if everybody spends $20 of trip on food, that adds up to an incredible amount of money being invested that didn't exist before, and then inflation goes haywire. What the time accountants, basically their job is to take all of our receipts and all of our expense accounts and everything we have to keep track of in terms of spending. Then it's their job to go back, and I don't even want to begin to comprehend how they do this, to go back in time and basically balance out the sheets. Hopefully that answers some of your questions about time travel and what Guys from the Future LLC does. Thaddeus, I will see you in the future.
My eyes have seen the glory of the guys from the future. They are trampling out the ignorance wherever it is found. They have loosed the knowledge of